Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's cold here. Very, very, very cold. Happy Monday, everyone. I am Michelle Lloyd, founder of United Art Space, and bringing you some happy, motivational Monday chat. So let me know how you're all doing. I had a great question come in, and it's a hard one. Oh, God. It's freezing. It's really cold. And I've got bad hair underneath this, but it is really, really cold here today. It is, Lottie, isn't it? The temperature's just dropping here in the UK. So the question that came in this week, it's a really hard one, so I'm going to do my best to answer. But it's a really great question, and I thought that we should have a chat about it because it's probably on everyone's mind at the moment. So the question was, should I prepare for a recession? Like, there is so much fear in the world at the moment, and should I have a plan B? Like, should I be thinking ahead to what potentially we could be heading into? And I thought it was a great question with everything that is going on at the moment. And that's what I'm going to tackle today. So it's a really tricky question and a good one. So I'll do my best to answer. This is just my view, of course. And what I want to say before I answer it is I will share how I view that question. But of course, we are all individuals and we all have to get through life the best that we can. And we are all in different situations. And right now, it's kind of survival. You know, you have to do what you've got to do to get through life, is the way that I see it. And so, you know, I just want to throw that caveat out there to start with, is that, you know, I've been in some bad places where the advice that I'm giving now, you know, I couldn't have done it because I just, getting out of bed was survival. You know, if I could get out of bed and actually get dressed, then I had a great day. So I'm saying this because I do appreciate that we are all very, very different. So, but as I have gone through life and faced the challenges, and like we all have, the ups and downs and the things that you plan for and then they're knocked off your feet with something that you just wasn't expecting. What I've begun to learn is that in life, we can't predict the future. So, you know, in terms of having a plan B, now, if having a plan B makes you feel better and it makes you feel more secure, then go for it. But here's the thing with how I feel about plan Bs is in life, there could be a recession. There could be this. We could face this other challenge. When you start looking into all the possibilities of what could go wrong, it's endless. It's endless. And we can't predict the future. So we are facing uncertainty and uncertain times. And we are fed by the media of how terrible things are. But that being said, when you look back at history, you know, terrible, terrible times have sometimes led to incredible good and incredible boosts in certain economies. And so we just don't know. That's the first thing I'll say is we don't know what we're heading into and we can't predict the future. So in terms of having a plan B, so I'm talking broadly here. I'm not just talking about the situation we're in now. I'm talking about anything in life when you have maybe it's an art career. I'll use my experience as an example. So my goal was to set up United Art Space. And I had another income and I really wanted to move over to set United Art Space up, but I was in that time where I needed money, didn't have any time, I had babies, and I was getting frustrated. I couldn't get United Art Space off the ground because I needed to earn the money, and I was in that vicious cycle of, and there became a point where I took the risk and decided that I was going to make the leap. And I was going to put everything into United Art Space and make the transition. And we knew it was going to be tough. We looked at our finances. I didn't have a plan B. That was it. I was going for that. And the way that I approached that was, that is my only option. And it was a risk. Now, if I'd have analysed all the things that could have possibly gone wrong, I wouldn't have ever taken the leap. I know that for a fact. I wouldn't have. The fear would have taken over. Now, what did happen was the worst did happen. So, and I'm laughing now, it wasn't funny at the time. It's like a nervous laugh. So 3 months after, we crunched the numbers. We knew it was going to be tight, but thought, yeah, we can do this. And I'm going to plow everything into United Art Space, because it was going to take a while to set up United Art Space before any money was going to come in. And then 3 months in, my husband was made redundant from his job. Could not have been a worse time. And it was hard, because then we had no money coming in, either of us. And he didn't have any warning, he didn't have any payout, gone. And it was like, oh my gosh. Now, everyone was saying, you need to go and get a job. You need to go and get a job. And I didn't. I carried on with my plan A. And, although it was tough, and it was incredibly hard, incredibly stressful. I was so stressed, I couldn't even have conversations. I remember my mum talking to me, but my brain was full of so much stress and fear that I couldn't even hear what she was saying. And everyone I kept getting everyone saying to me, "Are you okay?" Because I was like glazed over constantly. It was stressful. But what I will say is, from that time, I learned so much. I have some really amazing memories of closeness where my husband and I really came together to become stronger, and we learned how to live a very basic life. We had so much gratitude for our health, for the small things in life. We had some incredibly beautiful times with our family, doing things for free. And honestly, I look back now in fondness of that time, and even it's a bittersweet memory, because it was so stressful and yet so beautiful when I look back. Really weird time. But anyway, the point of sharing this is because I didn't have a plan B, and I kept going with my plan A. Now, because what I've discovered in life is it's how we react to things when they happen. Now, let me explain this. So, having gone through that now, I actually feel like I can handle anything. Because I went through, I've been through some tough times in my life. That one was up there with being stressful, because I have responsibilities and children. That's what made that experience very stressful. But I got through it. We got through it. We have some amazing memories even, and lessons, and it was incredible. Would I change it? No, I wouldn't. I would not erase it. I wouldn't go back and change that. So if I had a plan B, though, and this is how I'm going to try and explain this now, is if you have a plan B, and I'm not saying they're wrong, I'm just giving my view. A plan B is usually in your comfort zone. It's usually, if this doesn't work out, I'll just go back to doing this. And that's okay. Sometimes you need that reassurance that, okay, if something goes wrong, then I have this. So I totally get it. But I avoid the plan Bs, because what I find sometimes is, if you do have another option that's in your comfort zone, you're likely to revert to that. You're likely to go back in your comfort zone, because that's where it's safe. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because sometimes we need to go in our comfort zone because it's too stressful and I need to just take a step back. There's nothing wrong with that. But equally, through life, what I have learned also is, of course, we want to be happy and we want to be healthy. They're important. But we do need to feel pain and we need to go through challenges. And learning how to react and deal with them is something so powerful I found in my life. It's helping me step into bigger places and doing things that I would never have imagined that I was capable of doing. So I'm really cautious about my plan B now, around, am I staying in my plan B because that's where it's safe? And actually, if I go for my plan A, I can react, we can adapt. I got through that time and I reacted, we sorted it out, we came up with different options. And I think that now I've learned that anything is possible. When we put our minds to it, we are capable of the most incredible things. That being said, there is something powerful about being proactive instead of reactive. So what I mean by this is, plan B is, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'll just stay in this job because I get my holiday pay and I get this and it's comfortable. And quite often we can stay in that plan B because of that reason. It's comfortable, and the plan A is never going to come to fruition because we're staying with that plan B. But another way that I've started to think is about proactive and reactive, and I have these two phrases that come to mind now, because last week I was talking about how I prepare for the worst. And I have this phrase now where, and again, this is just me, this is just how I get through life. Expect the worst, plan for the best. So that's my motto in the back of my mind. Expect the worst, plan for the best. So what I do is shoot for the stars. It's my plan A, and that's what I'm planning for. Lots and lots of things could happen, but I don't plan for those. I'm prepared for them. So I was half joking last week about me expecting, and this is something that I've done to just prepare myself for the business I've grown today. I don't take for granted because it's all online and I don't own the internet. I don't own Facebook. And next week, anything can happen where this is taken away. It's out of my control. So I am, as much as I can be, mentally prepared for that. I have to face the fact that this could just all go. It's not, I don't own this. It's not mine. And so when you expect that, and it's the same with anything in life, when you expect the worst, it's almost like you're prepared for it. Don't take anything for granted. And then what comes from that expectance, so I'm not planning for what if this happens, I'll have this plan B. But what I do, though, is think about how I could be proactive. And there is an element in me, though, that I can react to things when things happen. I know that. I feel comfortable that if something goes wrong, then I will react. I will change things. I'll pivot. I'll do something different. There's always an option. There's always a solution. But there are things that we can do to become more proactive. And that is the example that I just gave with everything being online. Well, maybe I could start to do some more in-person things, or I might have a different thing that isn't relied on the internet. So that isn't about having a plan B. It's about being proactive and setting some things up. So, okay, if the worst does happen, then I have another option. And I know you're probably thinking that probably just sounds like the plan B. To me, it's different in my head. And so because to me, that's about expanding options rather than falling back into your comfort zone. That's the difference. So, for example, at the moment, we have lots of people who had brick and mortar businesses who are having to close down. They've been forced to close down. And what that's doing now is making people and businesses be reactive, and they are now thinking of deliveries and how can I go online, and so it's pushing people to change, to become reactive. And there are some people that may have already been proactive and maybe had already set up a business online and offline because they were, thinking ahead, expecting the worst. So I think that in life, like I just said at the beginning, there are so many things that can go wrong in life. So many things. We're all facing something together right now that's huge, that none of us saw coming, out of our control completely. But everything is out of our control, everything. And so that's why I go back to saying we have to do what we need to do to survive, but just be really careful as you go along the path that fear isn't crippling you. And remember that you can't predict the future. So we can expect the worst, but we don't know what's around the corner, and we don't know from the hardship and challenges that we face what great is coming. So expect the worst, plan for the best. Always plan for the best. Despite everything that's going on, I am still in that mindset now of I plan for the best, despite everything, despite all the fear from the media. When I see the news flash up saying more people have lost their jobs, more of this, more of that, it starts to fill us with this sadness and this fear. And so now more than ever, we need to come together to fuel this positivity and the belief, and that we will get through this, and anything is possible. Anything is possible. So hopefully that's helped answer that question. It's a bit ambiguous, I know. So going back to the question was, should I prepare for a recession? Should I have a plan B? And I just think that there's so many bad things that can happen that it's impossible to prepare, and we don't know for sure what's going to happen. So keep that goal, whatever it is of yours, in the forefront, and know that anything is possible despite everything that's happening. So that's all I've got to say on that one today. How is everyone doing? Let me know in the comments. Hello, Lottie Thomasina, Maribel, happy Monday. Karen, Marita, it's not cold where you are. She's in Australia. Simone, Sharon, Jennifer's wearing a tank top. Oh, I've got so many layers. Tanya's tuning in from Switzerland. Angela, hello. Namrita, hello. Leah, Carol, Catherine, Rebecca, Stacey, nice to see you. Annette, Sharon. Sharon says you're a lucky duck, Marita. I like that. Lisbeth is chilly in Holland as well. Happy Monday, Glenn. Nice to see you. Oh, Simone's sat there sweating. Colin's here as well. Noreen, Julie. It's lovely to see you all. Hello, Paul, Kath, Simone, Hannah, Donna, Romeo. Hello. Think you're hanging around with me too much, starting to wear that. Maybe it was a subconscious subliminal inspiration from you, Romeo. Yeah. I do like it though, because you don't have to do your hair. You'll know all about that, Romeo, being a hairdresser. Oh, Leah, we're sending you a big hug. We're sending you a big hug. And Romeo, yes, thank you. Cav says thank you. We loved your Muka videos. And I did a little bit of your Zentangle on Friday in the studio session with the hub members. Oh, June's tuning in from Prince Edward Island in Canada. Hello. Lorna's tuning in from Yorkshire. Colin's tuning in from Wellingborough. I love seeing where you're tuning in from. Sinead from Ireland. Hello, Jane. Nice to see you. How are you doing, Jane? Let me know. Sign from Melbourne. Chris is in from Blackpool. Love it. Angie, yeah, very cold, windy here. And you're so right, Michelle. Just getting out of bed and getting dressed is an achievement at the moment. Oh. Mike, you're literally down the road from me. I can't believe you're only in Shrewsbury. We're like 6 miles from each other. Freddie, Sally, hello. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely to see you all. Eva, Sophie, Ryan, Bernie, Annie. Oh, it's just going on. I can't say hello to everyone. Love it, Ryan's burnt his plan B. That's so great. Yeah, burn the plan B if you're ready to do that, of course. And I always just think of little phrases in my mind. So expect the worst, plan for the best is one of my little mantras that sits inside my head. And I don't use the word plan B. And I like the reactive, proactive little words that bounce around in my head. Because I start to think, how can I react to this? It's a really powerful one to think, how do I react to this? Even when people say things to you, and I'm going off on a tangent now, but I've just experienced it a little bit this week where some people trigger me, and it's just really interesting how you become self-aware and realize how some people trigger me, some people don't, and it's usually people that are closest that do. And I think, why do I allow that? Why do I do that? And it's really interesting. And I've been recommended a book recently, so I'm going to give that a read. I can't remember what it's called, but once I order it, I'll share if I learn, because it's really interesting about being aware of how you react to things. If you get defensive or you get angry, or if you're having a really good day and then someone will say something and you let it bring you right back down. It's a book all about that, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Hi, Paul. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Oh, I like that. It's a nice bit of Monday deep thinking. Yes. Yay, Paula found us. Hello, Paula. Oh, Leah, you have such a great way of explaining things. Thanks so much for doing these videos. They really do help. You're so welcome. Oh, Wendy, the timing of this chat is incredible. So glad it helps. When I was a homeware designer, even though I was freelance, I was to other people's briefs, so I wanted to take my own art full time. I told my clients I was no longer available, so they didn't have them as a backup. And then I went full time with my own art straight away. That was in 2015, and I've been a full-time artist ever since. Yay! Yeah, I remember doing the same thing when I transitioned. I just, the sensible thing to do is just transition and have like a few. But I just cut ties because I'm an all or nothing kind of person. And I decided that I just have to end that other business and the income, and I've got to make the switch. And I went straight in at the deep end. But I'm still here to tell the tale. It's interesting, isn't it, when we look back at the decisions and what we learned from them and how they felt. Good morning, Tanya. You know what? It's the thing is, though, it is funny that you say that about being scared, because I think now it's interesting because I feel now like I could tackle anything, and if that did happen, of course I would be really upset. Of course, we all have emotions and we get angry about stuff, but I do have this belief now that whatever happens, I know that I can handle it and I can come up with a solution. And I don't know whether that it's probably come from hitting rock bottom so many times and getting back up again that's made me realize that. And then also all the mindset work that I do, visualizing. And so it is powerful. For me to be sat here saying that is unbelievable compared to what I was like years ago, where I was the most negative person in the world. Oh no, Stacey, I hope you're joking. But it's not a bad way to think, Stacey, because as long as it isn't scaring you, it's making you proactive. But also, that being said, this expect the worst. So me saying that about, if the internet was wiped out next week, I don't have anything in place if that happens. It's in my mind. I think, yeah, I probably should be proactive and have some things in place, but I don't. But it doesn't worry me because it hasn't happened. It might not happen. That's the thing. It goes back to that other phrase of we can't predict the future. So, I'm not going to worry about it because it might never happen. It might never happen. But if it does, then I have to find a way to rebuild things. So, yeah, it's kind of like releasing. It's a good one. I know you're probably joking, but it's a good one to talk about because it's like the recession. I don't worry about that either. And when Andrew was made redundant, I was definitely worried about that. But then it got to the point where I realized it was taken over. And then I stopped. There was something in me, and I started reading all the books and I started to get all my mindset lessons out. And I started to something just changed in me. And I started to go, I'm not giving this power anymore. And whatever happens, I know we'll get through it. And that's when we all started to come together as a family unit again. And it was just, it's like so cheesy, you could make a film out of it. It was just it was such a lovely time in a weird way, because it was one of the worst times. But yeah, it's like how much power you give something and how much thought you give something. I think because you can spend so much time thinking about, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? But what if it doesn't happen? Then you've just wasted all that thought process on something. So now I just think of the things that could possibly happen. So they're kind of planted in my brain as well, they could, but I don't ponder on them. I don't really worry about them. I don't give them any power. So, and, I'm sure if the worst did happen, I would be really upset. This is a very good way to think, Michelle. Go into those negative places that our brain tends to do. Yeah, it's actually very helpful. Yeah. It is, because it helps us react, helps us learn how to react to things, doesn't it? Because we all want a happy life. We want to get through life as happy and smiley as we can, but it's just not realistic, is it? And we have to have moments where we cry and be frustrated. And Tracy says, after giving up my teaching career after being diagnosed, it's made me view life differently. Oh, and she's living her art journey, which came about by chance. Learned to adapt, trust, and go with the flow. Yes, go with the flow. Sharon and I talk about that. We'll just go with the flow. See where the wind takes us. Nikki, I was working full time, wanting to do my art. Yeah, so you lost your job. Yeah, and I remember the same thing happening to us, and I lost my job once, and I remember also not being able to get jobs. Oh my gosh, the pain of not being able to get a job. I was crying and crying. I felt like a failure. I felt like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get a job? And I can't remember how many people I applied to, but it was so soul destroying. And I am so glad that all those people said no to me. I cannot tell you how glad I am now that I did not get a job, because I know I would have sat in my comfort zone in those jobs for 100%. So it's so weird, so devastated, but now it's like, oh my gosh, thank you. It's amazing how fast things change. So yeah, Mike goes from having no design work 1 month to being booked up for 6 months. Oh yes, that's another great thing. Yeah, embrace the change. Because like you say, yeah, and I've had this, like, at one point I've been completely broke, and when I first started doing mindset around money, I was really struggling to, this was before United Art Space, really struggling to make money from the work that I was doing. And it just always felt like a struggle, to get the money in. And I hated saying how much things costed, and oh, it was awful. I just hated it. So I did a load of work on mindset, and I took a month off, and I just literally poured myself into money mindset. And the month after, my hourly rate shot up, and I'd never earned so much money in a month in my life. And I couldn't believe it. And I even said to Andrew at the time, I'm going to do this experiment, and I'm going to do all these things that these people say, the money mindset work, and we'll see what happens. And it worked. It was really weird. And I said it to Andrew because I was like, I need a witness here so that, you know, I can prove that this wasn't just me elaborating. And it all paid off. It was so strange. And so, yes, went from 1 month just feeling so broke to the next month, like, oh my gosh, how could I earn this much money? So you just don't know what's around the corner. Oh, I'm so glad it helps. The comments just jumped then. I just need to go back because the comments just jumped. Oh, I love it, Carl. This week is going to be a good one. Just got a good feeling. I'm really glad. Yeah, no one could have planned for this year. We planned in the hub for the best year yet, and despite everything, even losing my full-time job, I so did, and so did my husband. It has been the best year. Yes, that reminds me that next week you're going to be able to sign up for the best year yet. So we're going to make 2021 your best year yet. And I've been working this weekend on the prep for that. So the workshops don't start until the 7th of January, but I've got prep to start getting you thinking about what you want and reflecting back. So you'll be able to sign up for that next week. Hub members, you'll get that, and I'll be doing a session inside the hub as well to help you. But this is going to be available for everybody to take part in. I'm so excited to run these sessions because I feel like we need this after the year that we've had. But that just reminded me, Hannah, and it's been the best year because I've pivoted but kept with the plan and just adapted. Amazing. I don't have a plan B because it takes too much energy. Having 2 plans, yeah, it is too much energy, isn't it? So I love the idea of just having that plan A, and then if things go wrong, we just tweak, adapt. And that's what we did in the hub this year with the members when the virus did hit. We all created plans in January, and obviously everything went out the window. And we all got our heads together in the hub. It was incredible. And we all started to come up with different plans. What we're going to do now to react? What's happening? What can we do? And we saw significant, amazing changes and happenings. It was incredible. So you're loving the winter. Oh, yeah, changing the plan A if necessary. Yes, that's it. It's about adapting, changing, not reverting to the plan B. You've got to remember, well, this is how it is for me. Plan B is always my comfort zone. That's what the plan B is. And that's what plan B equals comfort zone. do a bit of maths. So it's, yeah, that's why I don't like going in there into the comfort zone. Yes, I love that way. And sometimes things happen so that other things can happen. Totally. Oh, thanks, Maribel. And Catherine, the little groups in the hub. So yes, if you are a hub member, we'll be putting people into little support groups again in the new year. We do them every 3 months. I love this, Stacey. Yeah, go with the flow, but be prepared to adapt at a moment's notice. And nothing is the end. And you're great at that, Stacey. You are definitely a person who, you can react to situations. I've seen you do that time and time again. With hindsight, I'm grateful for the opportunity I now have. Yeah, Lorna, I was going backwards because I missed this comment. It's all about being realistic and facing things head on. I never could get to grips with positive thinking. I really prefer being realistic, the certainty that the universe is generally a fair place. Yeah. I'm just going to quickly check that I haven't missed. Yes, Mike, really, I am in Wellington. And I go to Shrewsbury. Well, I did. I don't at the moment because we're in lockdown, but I did go to Shrewsbury often. I love it. All muddy from walking, but managed to quickly hop on. Oh, Lou, hello. You're such an inspiration. I'm stuck in the house, isolating at the moment, slowly going insane. Outdoor walks and runs and my mindfulness reset at the moment, so not doing well. Slowly folding in, but now thinking of reset, tidying the art room. Tidying is a good thing to do. Yeah, I did a big tidy up in my studio. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Jane. A few confidence bubbles regarding tech. Yeah. And overwhelmed, but back on track, tackling commissions this week. Good for you. I'm so proud of you. Oh, and Eva loved the Zentangle videos. They were so good. Somehow it rubs me wrong today, this kind of judgment towards people who need comfort and security. Sometimes a leap of faith is an extreme privilege. Yes, you're right. You're right. But, sometimes though, we do need, I remember times in my life where I've just needed to be wrapped up in cotton wool and I've needed to be in my comfort zone just to have some of that time where it's almost like the world sits still for a moment. Yeah, and you're right, it's a privilege, one that I've worked so hard for. Well, Rebecca, the workshops are for artists, but is more than welcome to take part in them. Yeah, Sophia, I'll let you know what the book is. Oh, yeah, it's written down in one of my notes and I'm going to buy it this week because this is something telling me to do it. 3 people have recommended that book to me in the last week. So strange how that's a sign that I need to read it. I can just imagine that the inside of your head is like a squashed up ball, a squash court. It's actually more like my brain is like a high frequency radio. That's how I feel like my brain is. It's like, when you're trying to fine tune a radio, my brain is stuck in the middle where it goes. That's my brain. Oh, Stacey's had to remove people from her community. Ryan says I am Yoda. Do or do not do, there is no try. I love it. Every time I see the Yoda quote now, I just laugh. So Yes, plan for the best. Oh, Sharon, hello. I'm going to get, there's so many comments and I love it. So keep them coming. I'm going to end now, but I'm going to come back and read all your comments because I'm loving them. So if you're watching this on the replay as well, please do leave a comment, and I do come back usually about Wednesday to go through them all. So thank you so much for joining me today. So hopefully that's helped in some way, or planted a seed, or given you some other way of thinking about life, and maybe not having that plan B and shooting for the plan A, and finding ways of reacting and keeping yourself with beautiful people like our group who just keep each other going. So it's so important to have people and each other. I know it's so cheesy, but it is, because, you know, it's lonely sitting there doing it all by yourself, trying to figure out life. So take care, everybody. If you're a Hub member, I will see you on Thursday. We've got a few members coming together to share their stories. I'm very excited to do that. And have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.